All right, so leftists, especially the blue and non-leftists, they came up with a conspiracy theory that Donald Trump had died, which was extremely retarded because there was zero evidence that he had died. And I do wonder, I think this is probably, the source of this was probably from the DNC. And I say that because David Pakman was one of the key people that was pushing this ridiculous conspiracy theory. And, it was just recently, and we'll touch upon this in a different video, but it was recently proven that David Pakman was and many other leftists. I think the list had like 90 of them on it. Leftist commentators on YouTube and TikTok and others were taking money from this DNC cutout called Chorus. And what's interesting is David Pakman, who is one of the worst, most gaslighting liars on YouTube. Pakman, he was usually not the type that would engage in the blue anon level of leftist insanity, and he more or less stuck to what you would see in corporate media. A lot of this stuff with the blue anon conspiracy theories you don't see on like MSNBC, but I mean sometimes you do. This one with Trump quote unquote disappearing did appear, but it wasn't until after it went completely viral on social media. Anyway, it seems like this was a talking point that was sent out to a lot of these chorus people, because David Pakman was one of the ringleaders, and he made a bunch of videos pretending that Trump disappeared. And what's hilarious is Trump just did a press conference where he looked like his normal self, talked like his normal self, and he took questions from the media. He talked for quite a long time. And in response to that, David Pakman made a video and doubled down, claiming that Trump is still, where's Trump? The thumbnail said, is he even alive? And so it's pretty hilarious to watch these idiots, especially like the people in the audiences of the David Pakman, who take him seriously, and then they get excited. You've seen this cycle a bunch of times. It happens around elections. They'll come up with a bunch of bullshit polling, like the Ann Seltzer poll during the election against Kamala Harris, and completely ridiculous. And then the audience gets upset when the lies they were told don't come to fruition. So similar thing happened here. Trump is alive and well, and it is kind of funny that they are so desperate and they're so out of ideas that now they're praying for or rooting for Trump to be dead, and that's not the case. And also, I guess they're not thinking about the fact that if Trump did die, then you would just get J.D. Vance right up your ass. Right up your ass, J.D. Vance, who could possibly, and I'm hoping he could possibly be worse than Trump for leftists. And so no matter what they do, they have 3.5 years left, and they're not going to be able to get out of it. And they're really at a low point, and I hope it continues to go lower. I hope they never win another election. I do think that so far they haven't deployed a successful strategy in countering Trump, and they have some major problems like not being able to get people into the streets. They can only get their astroturfed geriatric nursing home people into the streets, and it's these old white hippies, and that's about it. And so they have all these protests that are supposed to be the biggest ones ever, and then they're always epic failures. Then of course they lie about the numbers. They said 12 million people protested at this one protest, I think, when Trump had his parade. Totally made up. I would, if I'm being generous, I would say there was 1 million total countrywide, and it probably wasn't even that. It was probably like 400,000 or 500,000, something like that. So there was a couple, like in LA, they had a large crowd, but they couldn't really get a large crowd in DC. So that's it's all very fascinating. So we'll see what happens in the midterms. Unfortunately, Republicans have a problem during midterms, which is if Trump is not on the ballot, the turnout is not great. And so I think this is going to be a low turnout election on both sides, and hopefully the Republicans can squeak by and pull it off. So we'll see what happens. So I imagine there's going to be more conspiracy theories. They're always claiming that Trump is mentally ill and suffers from every mental illness ever. And you have the likes of Bald Fuckface pretending that Trump is mentally ill because he posts things on Truth Social that he doesn't like, and he posts memes, which is what normal people do on social media. And that'll continue. But yeah, we'll see. This is, I think, this is the first official death hoax that they've done with Trump. Maybe there was one during the Ching Chong AIDS, but I think this is the first one. And I imagine there'll be others. He'll disappear for 3 hours, and they'll say, "Oh, where's Trump?" Of course, Joe Biden would disappear for a month, and they didn't say anything. And then if you asked the question, they would call you a conspiracy theorist and say that Biden was sharp as a tack, which is ridiculous. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, join us tonight for what's that noise? I don't know what that noise is. Anyway, join us tonight for the Hard News Network live stream, which will begin at 9:15 p.m. Eastern on Rumble, rumble.com/user/Hard News Network, and I'll see you there.